What do Flash Sentry, Prince Blueblood, Trenderhoof, Timber Spruce, and Ragamuffin have in common? Right, they all were mostly useless. But that's not what I mean, at least mostly not. Most of us know Brad, the rest know Flash Sentry, one of the most disliked characters of MLP. He and the others are characters who only got introduced as a love interest, and there are even more characters like that. I would even put Big Mac in this category. I made a whole video about him being a target if they want to get romance in the show. But he is different. He had other purposes than being only that. The other ones I'm going to talk about are only in the show as a love interest. Most of them at least. The most prominent one, of course, is Brad. But let's start chronologically, shall we? The first one of these characters is Prince Blueblood, who was idolized and seen as perfect prince by Rarity. But he quickly turned out to be just a Brad, who thinks too highly of himself. Nothing of the royal courtesy and noble ways could be seen here. He was claimed to be perfect, but his flaws were visible after a short amount of time. So you get the sentence, useless. Annoying even. The maybe biggest one on this list of annoyances is Brad, aka Flash Sentry. His introduction was incredibly cliché. A classic sweetmeat with Twilight, and him bumping into each other, and him helping her up again. And from that point on, he was just the cliché love interest of a teen high school movie. And I get it, that is what Equestria Girls was supposed to be at the start, but they took it too far. They even bumped into each other several times after this. One sweetmeat is fine, but this was just overkill. It would have been fine if he wasn't as useless as he is. The only other thing he did was proving Twilight's innocence when he got the unedited pictures of his ex-girlfriend Sunset Shimmer destroying everything that was made ready for the party. Literally every other character could have taken his place, but for the sake of love, he was the one. And it doesn't get better in the later features. The sweetmeats continue when he first meets Sci-Twi, and he even tries to get back with Sunset in Legends of Everfree, even if he fails, which is really fun to watch, especially because they also bump into each other. That's why he also gets the sentence, useless, even though he is also persistent. And he tries to be a good love interest. That doesn't change him being incredibly cliché and repetitive though. A hopeless romantic who can't accept that the girl he likes is a pony princess. And now that I think about it, we only know about him dating ponies in human form. So he apparently is a brony? He is the cliché character trope of a high school movie love interest. Not even his pony version is better. The only thing we ever see him doing is him bumping into Twilight. Later on in the show, we have Trenderhoof, another pony Rarity has a crush on. A traveling blogger who is supposed to be famous all over Equestria. He then proceeds to get a crush on AJ, just to justify a lesson. You don't have to change for another pony, just because you liked him. If they don't like you for who you are, then it's their loss. He is another known character trope, a celebrity who thinks too highly of himself. Similar to Blueblood, he thinks that every pony loves him, and should do so. Even though he learns the same lesson as Rarity in the end. He isn't just useless, he is also stupid. Let's just hope he has learned his lesson. We wouldn't know, because we never saw him again after this, which only further proves the point. That he was only used as a love interest for one episode, and nothing beyond that, which is a shame. It would have been interesting to see a changed Trenderhoof in a future episode. Another one of Rarity's love interests is Ragamuffin. He appears in the Equestria Girls special Spring Breakdown, and is part of the ship's crew, and has an excessive British accent. The same as Flash, he gets the sweetmeat with his designated girl, but other than him, he isn't into her. He doesn't even seem to notice that she has a crush on him. The next known character trope, the oblivious guy. But other than the aforementioned, he isn't completely useless. He is able to help calm down the passengers when the ship's electricity goes down. So he gets the sentence of, not totally useless as a person, but totally as a love interest. And I still think Rarity only had a crush on him because he has a similar color scheme to AJ. There is one more guy we need to talk about, and he is, in my opinion, by far the best of the bunch. which isn't a big compliment, but oh well. I'm talking about Timber Spruce, Sidewise love interest from Legends of Everfree, and I think he is the best out of these, because he actually has a purpose and character outside of being a love interest. He fills a role that none of the previously established characters could do, and the use as a love interest is just a bonus they added because it's still a movie about high school girls, and that's the cliche. None of the other characters could serve as a villain suspect at this new location. He is used as a scapegoat for Gloriosa, so that it doesn't get too obvious that she is the villain, even though every pony I know expected her to be one from the start. This character is deeper than, for example, Sentry. Well, it's mostly filled with bad jokes and weird flirting, but also with concern for his sister and the camp. He actually tries to cover for her with the Gaia Everfree story, tries to help out with the camp chores, and wants to talk to the campers about the problem with Filthy Witch, so that they don't spend their time building a dock that won't stay for long anyway. He actually has a kind of important role in the story, and there is one more thing that elevates him from the rest. He actually gets the girl in the end. Sidewise and he are chatting and even going on a date in the later shorts. So his sentence is not useless, neither as a character nor as a love interest, since he actually uses kinda normal methods to flirt with Sidewise and gets the girl while still having another purpose in the story. The point of none of them actually getting together is actually a big reason why I don't like most of these. Only there for an episode and then forgotten again with no character or relationship development. I for one am completely fine with romance in shows like MLP. But if it's like here and nothing comes from it, then it's just mostly useless. MLP actually can use some of those for friendship lessons, but to abandon the characters right after that is wasted potential in my opinion. Those are not the only shallow characters, but they are a good example for development on the writer's side. They realized that Brad wasn't well written and introduced a better version of him later with Timber Spruce, making him, combined with his sister, one of the better written characters in Equestria Girls. Male characters in cartoons are often used in this way. MLP has shown that again with these characters. But there are better ways to write these than just as love interest. They've shown that they learned that. But those were only my thoughts on these tropes. What do you think about including characters only for romance in shows? What are your feelings on these for specifically MLP? Did I miss any characters that fit that premise too? Let me know, and until next time, fellow bronies, brony fellas, and bye.